we still have inside the studio our guest analysts, Devance and Jett Manuel. So earlier, we went through your title favorites for the season. Now we're going to go through your NBA MVP favorites. So we have like 6 players here, 6 players. And on this list, so this is in no particular order, but I just want to like go through the list and see what you guys think about it. Number 1, LeBron James. What about his MVP chances, knowing that he's going to play for the LA Lakers?
I think his chances are okay. I don't think he's going to win it just because he's more focused on winning championships, especially bringing a championship to the Lakers, not really bringing a MVP to the Lakers. So, I mean, LeBron is LeBron. He's always going to have a chance. I just don't think he's going to really focus on that.
I think if you're a Laker fan, are you hoping that LeBron will have an MVP caliber season?
Of course. If you're a Laker fan, of course you want LeBron to just, be LeBron. But like Joe said, I don't think he's really focused on that right now. I think he's at that age where he's maybe not won enough, but he's won a lot of MVPs, and he has a knack for taking some regular season games off. It's really the playoffs where he just goes crazy, and it probably would work against him if the stats that he really just puts up on a consistent basis. Like, if he puts up 28, 8 and 8. What are people going to say? That's just normal
That's
LeBron.
just normal LeBron. Yeah,
but if it were any other player,
then
it would be. So it works against him in that case, but I don't think he's really out there, like Joe said, to prove to everyone, I'm the MVP. And that's a big factor, if you really come out and you want to prove that you're the MVP. So I think he's past that stage right now.
And maybe age has something to do with it, the fact that, as you mentioned, LeBron is going to pace himself, and he's really going to prepare for the playoffs. I think that's his promise to the Laker fans. He is going to bring this team to the playoffs and maybe even beyond. James Harden. So James Harden, again, is another player. Every year, we expect this guy to put up MVP numbers. Now, what will he need to do this season to convince everyone that, he deserves yet another MVP trophy?
Honestly, I think he's going to do what he did last year, just get buckets. I mean, he's who can stop him in the NBA right now? You know what I mean? So honestly, I think he's just going to do what he does, and if he wins, he wins. I think towards maybe the end of the year, he might try to pick up his scoring or his stats a little bit, but other than that, he's just going to score buckets, and I think that's what he's going to do.
Isn't playoff performance going against James Harden? Like, doesn't it emphasize it's a regular season award, and it come to playoffs? There's a tendency for James to disappoint. So, to forward the argument, shouldn't James Harden finally have that really marvelous playoff performance from first round all the way to the conference finals?
If he does that, then it's going to help a lot. Because the knack that people that keep coming back at him with is his performance in the playoffs, like you said. So I think Joe's right. He's just going to perform the same way. He's going to have the ball the same amount of times, even with the addition of Carmelo Anthony. The offense is still going to revolve around him. So I think he's gonna play the same way, put up the same numbers. But I think it's going to be different. Maybe if he brings his team to the finals, if he beats the Warriors, then you can make a legitimate case that that's how good he is right now, and he could probably win the award.
Speaking of the Warriors, there are 2 guys in the Warriors that are always in the MVP conversation, provided that they're healthy. There's Kevin Durant, there's Steph Curry. Now let's start with KD. If KD continues to play for the Warriors, no matter what numbers he puts up, doesn't that work as a negative for him because he plays for such a loaded team, Joe?
Honestly, I think it just kind of says the opposite, just how great he is, for him to play with Steph, with Clay, with everybody else that can score crazy numbers, and what more him when his numbers stand out above the rest of the rest
above
of the team.
Steph, above Clay.
Yeah, on top of them winning, so I mean, they have to take all that into consideration, and for me, winning is the best thing that you can do. And I mean, if he's putting up the numbers that he puts up, I mean, he's going to have a great case for MVP.
I mean, how do you strengthen your case if you're KD if you want to win MVP?
Well, I don't know, because he's won a lot. He's proven that he's the best in the finals. He's proven that right now he's probably the number 1 or number 2 player in the league. behind LeBron, but I don't think he can do much. I think the only thing holding him back is the fact that he's playing with 4 other All-Stars, or now 5 other All-Stars. People are just saying it's just too easy for him. So, to prove a point, I don't think he can do anything else. Probably get average a triple-double.
What about Steph Curry? What about Steph Curry? Why is Steph's situation different from KD? Well, how come if Steph has this phenomenal year, the people look at? I mean, let's face it. People look at Steph differently the way they look at KD. Why is that?
Right.
I don't know. I think Steph's just been in that position, and I think the fact that he didn't win that, decidedly without KD, just put him in the position, maybe he's not the most valuable player for the Warriors. Maybe it's really KD. So I think that's what's holding him.
Well, for me, I think we view Steph differently just because he's a guard dominating the NBA. You know what I mean? I mean, what other MVP candidate is on there that's a guard? I mean, James Harden, he's what, 6'5"?
Big.
Yeah, he's big. You know what I mean? So Steph, out of all of them, is the smallest one, and he's literally dominating the league. So I think that's why we see Steph differently. And on top of what he does in the games, I mean, shooting these crazy threes and, you know what I mean, just doing the stuff that he does. So that's why it's a little different for Steph. So
I like it. You're giving an edge to the smaller guy.
Yeah.
That's inspiring for me.
Both you guys.
Okay, Joe. I already laughed. Okay.
Okay, going away from small guys, going back to really tall guys, Anthony Davis. Now, Anthony Davis, at the end of seasons, you look at his number and you're like, oh my gosh, what he does is amazing. Now, the thing is, what does he need to do so that he can really be in that MVP debate?
I think it's how far he takes his team in the playoffs. He's my favorite to win the MVP rankings this year.
That's what I was going to say, too.
Yeah, DeMarcus Cousins is out. The way he performed after the All-Star break last year, he led the league in scoring. He got 12 rebounds, 3 blocks, 2 steals. He could easily be the defensive player of the year. So his performance is really now based on how much he can lead his team to win.
Right.
Because all the other contenders we just discussed, they're already proven winners. So I think that's going to be the difference right now for AD.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think, honestly, he's, out of all the guys on there, I think maybe him and Giannis might be the two that will really try to get the MVP. Kind of, I don't want to say that their teams are just going to lose, but really not knowing if they're going to make it far in the playoffs. I think, if anything, they're going to really work on their numbers to kind of jump up a little bit.
Well, you mentioned Giannis Antetokounmpo. So Giannis and Anthony Davis are in the same boat. They're not playing for title favorites. They're playing on good teams, good enough to make the playoffs. But Giannis can look at Giannis' number. He does this again. I think to sound smart this year, if people ask you who your MVP picks are, I would say AD and Giannis, just to make me sound smart.
Yeah.
You won't go wrong with those two.
Yeah, I would probably say the same thing.
Okay, there you go. LeBron, Harden, KD, Curry, AD, Greek Freak. Those are the picks of Joe and Jett to be in the conversation for MVP.